Hello, I'm Fatma Amani. Welcome to yet another episode of Bonga na Path, a show that connects you to the world through people's experiences. Here at Bonga na Path, we love to host people who are doing amazing things out there, and it makes us even happier when these people have started young. So today we have the privilege of hosting the inspirational and incredible Dr.Audi. He's an author, creative author, and also an entrepreneur. So who actually is Dr.Audi?
Well, I don't know. I usually don't like that question. It's too general. Dr.Audi is a young man from Kwale. And actually, Dr.Audi is not my real name. It's my brand name. My real name is Suleiman Ndoro.
Such a big brand name for a young man. Yeah. We know Audi, the brand cars, the cars.
Yeah, actually the name Audi comes from the name Dr.Audi comes from the name Audi. You know, I studied clinical medicine at Jkuat University. Okay. So that name, I branded myself Doctor and Audi. See, I don't want to call it a lucky number, but I love the digit 4. And to know Audi has those 4 rings. Yes. One reason that I love the digit 4 is because my mother was the 4th born. Yeah. So due to the love I had for my mother, I call myself Dr. Audi.
Okay.
Yes. So it's a name I've been using, I think, for like 5 years now, since 2016. I branded myself Dr. Audi since I was in medical school. Okay. Because the name Suleiman is too general. And you know, when you're building a brand, too general and too long. Okay. When you're building a brand, you want a name that can stick to people easily, yeah. And a name that they can easily remember, maybe relate to. You know, everybody loves Porsche cars.
Yes, exactly.
So, I am an author, a self-published author. I'm also a book publishing consultant. Okay. By that I mean people who have the ideas of writing books, or people who are aspiring to write books, or are already writers, usually come for consultation from me on how and why they should write their books.
I love that word you used, inspiration.
Yeah.
Yes. Keep going.
I can see your theme here is inspire.
Exactly.
Inspire and motivate. And entrepreneur, I don't want to call myself more of an entrepreneur, but I believe I'm a problem solver. That's what I'm called. And one of the companies that I founded is called the Muslim Media Company. The Muslim Media Company was okay. We'll come to that first. I think first we focus on Dr. Audi. So I'm an author, book publishing consultant. Let's say an entrepreneur, or a problem solver.
So behind this author thing, there has to be a story. So like you said, you're an entrepreneur and you're also an author, like a self-published author. Yeah. So what actually inspired you into getting into what you've gotten into?
Actually, when I was young, you know, there's those questions we usually ask when you're young. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Exactly.
I have never imagined myself becoming an author. So all I wanted to be is become a gynecologist, or maybe a neurosurgeon, something like that. But I started writing in 2018 actually. I was in final year of medical school at Jkuat, and I was privileged to be the chairman of clinical medicine students, Muslim clinical medicine students at Jkuat. So a first year approached me complaining that there are no enough revision questions in anatomy. Anatomy is one of the subjects we learn in medical school.
Medical school.
Yeah. So when the student approached me, asking for help for revision questions, and it was true, there were no revision questions that time. So I started compiling revision questions for her, chapter by chapter, and by and by I realized that I had completed a whole book in revision, in anatomy revision. Okay. So that is how I published my first book.
So what is this book called?
The book is called Test Your Anatomy. MCQs,
okay.
multiple choice questions with answers.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So, like you said, your first book was the anatomy book. So, have you written any book regarding community problems, how to counter them, maybe?
Yes, not directly, but I can say yes in a way, because apart from writing medical books, I also write personal development books. Mostly motivational books that we usually call. They are mostly known as motivational books. Yeah. Personal development, self-help books. Category and non-fiction. Yeah. So I believe in one way, if you inspire a person outside there, you're making an impact to the community, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in this short period of time, I'm aware that it takes a long time to write a book. So how many books have you written so far? How many have you published?
Yeah, it's a question that when I usually answer people, they don't believe me. I don't know why. But up to now, I can say I've self-published 29 books. Yeah, 15,
that's a big
15,
number.
I knew, I saw that coming. 15 of them are medical revision books. 14 of them are non-fiction, not non-fiction, the personal development books.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've not launched all of them. I launched 2 cover. Now, some of them, I was planning to launch them this year, but this year has been quite unfriendly due to the COVID thing. It's not something to blame. It's not an excuse. But probably from next year, 2021, should be launching some of the personal development books.
Okay. Apparently, I believe you. I believe the 29.
Thank you so much. I feel so touched.
So, out of the 29 books that you've written and the few that you've published, which is your favorite book?
Well, it will be so unfair when my other books hear this. But I can say, the books that I love most are the books that have impacted a lot of people, more people than the rest. Yeah? Because it makes no sense writing a book that does not touch.
Exactly.
For me, I usually say, even if my book gets to be read by one person and it changes that person's life, I've done something.
Exactly.
So I can answer that with my book that I've sold the most copies. And the first book that I love is my first book because it made me known to the world as a writer. The Test Anatomy. Actually, it was the first book that made me become featured in a national newspaper. The first book that made me become known as Kenya's youngest medical author, and it has helped a lot of medical students, making anatomy easier for them to study. And it has sold quite a number of copies. And the other book that I love so much is a book about my role model called Abdurrahman bin Auf, the Billionaire Sahaba. The book is called Billionaire Sahaba. I think I launched the book late last year, and it is one of the books that actually sold most copies compared to the rest. I know the book talks about, especially we as Muslims, the current generation is filled with so many influencers, so many role models who, when you look at their life, they're not that fit
perfect
to be role model. You cannot sit down and tell your child to follow a certain person when you're on YouTube or on social media, just because this person has 10,000 followers, something with a K on M or M, a role model. And when I wrote about Abdurrahman bin Auf, he was the richest companion of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And despite all that richness, unajua kuna msemo unasema ni rahisi maskini kuingia janna than tajiri. Actually, even the Prophet said maskini wataingia peponi wa kwanza kuliko tajiri. But sasa Abdurrahman bin Auf, despite being the richest, and when you compare his net worth with the richest man on earth today, who is Jeff Bezos, is 6 times richer than Jeff Bezos. But despite all this richness, he was guaranteed heaven while on earth. He was among the 10 Sahabas who were guaranteed heaven while on earth. And of course, all of us want to be billionaires on earth. We also want to enter heaven.
Exactly.
We want to be successful in our marriages, in our businesses, in charity. And I thought the best person for us Muslims, especially us Muslims, to learn from is Abdurrahman bin Auf. So it's a small book which I never knew will impact so many people. It has been read by Muslims, non-Muslims, old and the young. And it's a book that it made me actually, if you do a number of things, kuna ile kitu kimoja itakutoa ikutambulisha
kabisa.
So Billionaire Sahaba was that book. Yeah.
Okay. So putting a pause on the author thing, let's talk a little bit about the media company.
Yeah, the media company. Yes. Okay. The Muslim media.
Yes.
I love that company. It's in my heart. So why I started the Muslim media is because, as I told you before, entrepreneurs are not just entrepreneurs because they make money. Actually, when we've noticed the trends of most entrepreneurs in the world are people who are problem solving.
Exactly.
So an entrepreneur is a person who, when he sees a problem, doesn't blame, doesn't complain, doesn't make an excuse. Find a solution to that problem. right? So I was in the matatu one day, traveling from Juja. Juja is in Kiambu County, where Jkuat is, going to Nairobi. Then I was sitting in this matatu, and there were people seated in front of me. Probably they were non-Muslims. And they were talking bad things about Muslims. Yeah, I think Muslims are just terrorists, polygamists. They just know how to marry many wives. They are so lazy, especially the Muslims from Mombasa. You know, all those things have become labeled. And it sounded to me like Muslims were like second-class citizens, half-baked individuals.
I get.
And it sikuipendelea kabisa. And you know one thing about me, you know, when you look at my phenotypical pictures, you cannot know that I'm a Muslim, right? So that is why it was so comfortable for those people seated there. You know, I don't have the silky hair.
I get.
Ukimwona Mwarabu utajua huyu ni Muislamu kabisa. You know, that's the picture those non-Muslims have. So they continued talking about these bad things, and I know I'm the kind of person who I cannot stand up and wanza kushout. I'm usually a shy and soft-spoken person. Yeah, actually, when it comes to arguments, I usually end up crying, even if I'm on the right side. I'm that weak. So I told myself, now, what has made these people talk bad things about Muslims is because the media. The media has told these people different stories as opposed to what they should be hearing about Muslims.
Okay.
So when I was trying to come up with a solution, and you know, like back days, like a month or so before, you know, there was this Dusit attack that happened in Westlands sometimes last year, and 2018, yeah, because we started the Muslim media in 2018. So when this attack happened, I know the Al-Shabaab claimed that there were people responsible, and most Al-Shabaab are Muslims. So I was to go for a certain interview at a certain media station, and this media station refused for me to go for the interview just because I'm a Muslim.
Okay.
So the best thing I can do as an individual, and you know, I tried reasoning out. If me, actually where there in Kiambu, people sometimes mistake me to be a Kikuyu, to be a Maasai. They don't see me to be a Muslim. So if me, who I look like this, are going through this, what are those my brothers and sisters, when ukiangalia tu hivi unajua huyu ni Muslim, they must be undergoing a lot. So I started Muslim media to try and show the world that there's a good thing you can learn from Muslims. There are Muslims outside there doing a great job who need to be shown to the world.
Okay.
And so the Muslim media, the primary work that we do is to celebrate Muslims. Like on Monday we celebrate a Muslim man, male personality of the week. On Wednesday we celebrate a female personality of the week. And back in 2018 we conducted our first event in Kenya called 100 most influential Muslims in Kenya in 2018. Actually it happened at Swahili Culture, right opposite here. So unfortunately we didn't do one this year because of the COVID thing. And so probably next year in 2020 we are going to have another episode and other more platforms to celebrate Muslims.
Next year in 2021.
Yeah, I'm hoping we'll be in the list today.
I mean,
yeah.
To follow our host on his social media platforms.
With my social media handout, me hata sikuagi na interest, but if you want to find me, I'm more active on Instagram, Dr.Audi _Dr.Audi, and my WhatsApp business number 0795 662 513. Facebook and Twitter 612.
So thank you for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe, share and like our videos.